It is party time, getting off the rails on a Thursday. Come on with it. Studio 22, we're in the mothership, the Puppet Master Mark, driving us into the nether regions of all things insanity alongside Super Chris Cruz. He is pure-blooded. And in the backstretch, we got Let's Love Brandon. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Chris, guess what I did yesterday? I called my friends at Masterworks. I bought a Keith Haring.
Let's go.
And I bought an Ed Roche.
Come on
with it.
I just saw, did you see that you can now purchase, I didn't like it, not my cup of tea, but you could purchase a Albert Olin.
Yeah.
So,
now, my thing is, Chris, see, what you just said is what you can't do. Is
What?
not your cup of tea. Don't look at the art.
but if I'm going to hang it at my house,
Well,
I want it to
it'll
be
never
pretty.
hang in your house.
Well, I just make a copy and just paste it to the wall.
Listen, the herring is going to go for at least $41, $51 million.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, so I think it's a good investment. I mean, when you got so much money, you're now investing in pieces of art.
Chad,
It's
that's
crazy.
the only.
I like Masterworks. They're good people. They're a sponsor of the show, so this is free advertisement for them. They're good people over there.
And by the way, we all know why you ran for governor is to be the richest cowboy in Texas ever.
Yes, ever. I'm going to have to talk to the executives upstairs about a raise here at BlazeTV. Oh, my goodness. Good to be with you guys. Good to be here on a Thursday. Later on in the show, our friend Jonathan Isaac with the Orlando Magic. He's got a new book out called Why I Stand. He took a chance. He did. He stood with his convictions, and he literally stood when everybody else on his team was kneeling for the anthem. He stood, and he also refused to get the vaccination. Tells that story. It's incredible, his journey, not just about standing, but just in life. Why I Stand. I want you to get it. It's available at bookstores now. And he's going to be with us later on in the show, so you don't want to miss it. Good dude. Super good dude. Man, there's so many things I want to get into, Chris, that I want to talk about them all at once. So now a little update. We didn't talk about it yesterday, but Uvalde Police and the school district are no longer cooperating with Texas investigation. They're not cooperating with the DPS. They're not talking to the Department of Public Safety. As far as their, the investigation into the police response. Now, my takeaway on that deal is probably like, you don't want to talk to the authorities without a lawyer present. So it's kind of like you have the right to remain silent. So I kind of think that they don't want to be talking to give up kind of any incriminating thing because you could see some criminal investigation come out of this. But it's sad to see. It's sad to see. And while I appreciate. Now, again, a lot of people, we had Jorge Ventura on the show. He gave his analysis of what he saw firsthand that's there. The key to doing an interview is you want to let the guest speak. I still have a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions about what's going on here. You got a helicopter, a medevac helicopter that took off and went to Uvalde before the shooting even happened, apparently, according to the flight logs. There's a huge controversy over the door being propped open, or was it a malfunction? It didn't lock back. Either way, why is this teacher going out that door that's supposed to be closed and locked during school hours? Just things, again, with the delay. Was he, did he wait 5 minutes before he went into the school, or was it 12 minutes? There's multiple reports on that. There's so many things, man. And I'm like, I'm going to go back to what I said on the show. I'm not going to speculate right now. I'm going to ask questions, but I'm not going to draw conclusions at this point because I don't think this situation deserves that. And I want to encourage folks to do the same thing. Because I was reading the live chat. I was reading you guys, the live chat on YouTube when we were watching the show with Jorge, and everybody immediately was saying, you need to talk about this, you need to talk about this. And then eventually we did get into all those things. But everybody's got a conspiracy theory, and I hate that. But anyway, that's what's going on right now. Now, the more fascinating thing that's happening in our world right now is Jill Biden, who likes to fext with her husband. She said that they engage in fexting That's how they settle their disputes. Apparently, Jill and Joe have a little argumentative streak, and they don't want to do it in front of the Secret Service, so they fight over text. I got a feeling that's Jill being just freaking bossy. Like, if I'm picking up on that, that's just her being a bitch. So when Joe Biden was vice president, the couple decided to settle disagreements by text to avoid fighting, hence her phrase fexting. We'll talk about that in a minute. In the presence of Secret Service agents, they dubbed it fexting. Now, if you look up the word fexting, Urban Dictionary has a completely different meaning. It's not fighting over text. It's texting someone else while you're effing, while you're having sex with someone, which, again, requires a lot of talent. I can walk and chew gum, but I don't know if I can, participate in coitus at the same time texting somebody.
Can I challenge you? Maybe this weekend you put this into a experiment?
You want to challenge me? I appreciate your good faith in me, Chris, that you assume that I will be making sweet, sweet love to someone.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate that you believe in me. I've gained 20 pounds. I don't know that anybody wants to make sweet, sweet love to this. You don't want, look at this. This is not what you want on top of you right now. This is not, I do not look like Channing Tatum anymore.
Wait, you did?
I did. In my mind. That's what I was told. Anyway, so maybe this weekend, here's the thing, Chris. I'm going to text you this weekend a couple of times. Just know that at one of those points in time, I'm probably naked with another human being. All right, and you'll never know which one it is. You'll never know which one it is, Chris. You just assume that all of them. But since we're in June, it may be with another man. I might be manning up. I might, maybe it's me and Andrew Heaton or something. We got to get Andrew Heaton back on this show. I missed that dude. What? Yeah, look at my picture. I didn't put it, I put it out there. I said, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I just wanted to celebrate the covenant with Noah. That's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to celebrate the fact that God promised he would never flood the earth again. He would never destroy people. You think Joe and Jill still get it on? You think so? I think Jill's kind of a hot to trot toddy. She's ready to go.
If you tell me that the 79-year-old president is not using President Biden in bed, he's doing it all wrong. Because he did it while he was vice president.
Let me just tell you, if I'm texting somebody, if I'd have won the governorship of Texas, she better be calling me governor. In fact, this weekend, whoever I'm with better be calling me governor. And if they want to get kinky, they could say governor. I saw a meme day before yesterday. I don't know if this is true or not, but now gas prices in California, certain parts of California, over $8. What? Record highs. And so what's Joe going to do? Joe is going to create an office. That's what Joe does. That's what these Democrats do. It's what they all do. I'm sick of all of them, Republicans, Democrats. It's all about big government. When there's a problem, there it is, $7.25 for the cheap stuff. $7.75. I can't imagine what diesel is. They probably don't even have diesel in California. I'd be SOL. He's creating an Office of Environmental Justice. That would be a shitty television show right there. The Office of Environmental Justice, where we drop the hammer on people who pollute. Polluters beware. That's what they want to do. They want to assist in building an environmental justice workforce. That means your tax-paying dollars right there are going to go to a worthless piece of governmental bureaucratic bullshit, and you get to pay for it. There you go. Blunt truth is that many communities across our nation, particularly low-income communities, got to always throw that in there. You got to pull on those heartstrings. And communities of color, there it is, continue to bear the brunt of pollution from industrial development, poor land use decisions, transportation, and trade corridors. There's so many things I want to say right now that would get me in trouble. Meeting the needs of these communities requires our focused attention. God forbid you live in a developed society. God forbid you have buses that take you places and airplanes to transport your... Anyway. So we're establishing the Office of Environmental Justice. Bah, bah, bah. Na, 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 na. You know what? I'm going to write a theme song. That's what I'm going to do. But see, here's how Joe... I want to play this video for you real quick. Here's how Joe handles it right now. Where when Joe gets asked questions by reporters, here's his modus operandi. Play it.
That's why we're meeting, folks, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you. Let's go.
Just stares blankly. And his aides just rush him out. You know what that reminds me of? Just running everybody out. It's like 2 a.m. at the bar. You know, the lights come on. You ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here. Last call, you're out. Gotta go. I gotta go. So, you know, God forbid. Do you remember when Donald Trump would have a press conference every single day during COVID? Every day. And just stayed there and talked to him. Loving it. But you never know what Joe's going to say. And then Janet Yellen, this is old news at this point. Janet Yellen, play that clip.
Was it a mistake, Madam Secretary, to downplay this inflation risk? Did that contribute to the problems we're all seeing right now?
Well, look, I think I was wrong then about the path that inflation would take. As I mentioned, there have been unanticipated and large shocks to the economy that have boosted energy and food prices and supply bottlenecks that have affected our economy badly that I at the time didn't fully understand.
That's the Treasury Secretary right there, Janet Yellen. She says, I was wrong. No kidding, Janet. When do you think is the last time Janet pumped her own gas? Yeah, maybe. No. Do you even know what the gas prices are? I bet she doesn't know what a gallon of milk costs. I bet she doesn't know what a loaf of bread costs. I bet she doesn't know what a carton of eggs. None of that stuff. Of course you were wrong. You're out of touch. You're 117 years old. You don't know. You should be in assisted care at this point. Not trying to run the Treasury. We already know you guys want to run it into the ground. We already know that you think deficits and debt are a good thing. We already know that you can print trillions of dollars without anything to back it up of any realistic value. So no, we know you're wrong when you say that inflation was transitory, when you say that inflation was blamed on Putin, whatever you say, we give this jobs growth number, whatever they keep trotting out here is a bunch of horses. You know you're wrong. Because here's the thing. You've been fed the lies yourself so many times. You've spewed them out. You just like Joe Biden. Just like Joe Biden talking about guns. Like, here's the thing. You're going to say a high-powered 9mm is going to blow the lung right out of the body. Come on, dude. You've been fed the narrative so many times, you don't even know what you're talking about anymore. Did you see the NPR article that said that AR-15s, a 5.56 round, will decapitate a person? I mean, you're either pushing a political narrative for an agenda or you're just stupid and ignorant. I'm going with both in that regard. I mean, tell me you've never shot a rifle without telling me you never shot a rifle. Come on. I want to go. And then, who was it, Chris? You sent me the tweet, the article talking about all blacks in America should go out and buy an AR-15, and then Republicans would want gun control. No, that'd just be more buddies to hang out with at the gun range. Come on. I want to do a clip. I wish Blaze would let us shoot some shows on location. I really wish they would. Come on, guys. If you're watching this show, are you listening? Executives, I want to go to the gun range. I want to go over to Texas Gun Experience.
Do you want to go?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to sit down on location.
Okay.
Let's have some chats.
All you have to do is turn to your left and say, hey, Chris, let's go to the gun range.
Chris has got the power.
Let's go.
And you know why they don't tell Chris no? Because he's brown. Hey, in Joe Biden's America, criminals are exalted, the police are condemned. It's sad to say, but you need to be prepared and properly trained to defend yourself and your family. Yes, I said it. iTarget Pro is the way to go. This revolutionary system allows you to dry fire practice with your actual firearm anytime in the safety and privacy of your own home. No more inconvenient trips to the range, and with inflation causing the price of ammunition to skyrocket, you're going to save a ton. Just download iTarget's proprietary app, load the laser bullet into your firearm, and start your training experience. iTarget's going to help you develop muscle memory. It's going to sharpen your target reaction speed, your sight alignment, your trigger function. You're just going to get used to your firearm, and you're going to shoot it better. iTarget Pro is going to come in all the major calibers, most of which you own, including your .223, so you can shoot your AR-15 and stay sharp with every firearm you got. So go to itargetpro.com. That's the letter I. targetpro.com. Right now, save 10% plus get free shipping with offer code CHAD. I spell it, Chad. It's a great gift for Father's Day. Less expensive than the hours at the range. Letter I, Target Pro. itargetpro.com. Use offer code Chad. We're right back. All right, welcome back. It's that time. We're going to do a little bit earlier today, actually, to wax eloquent. Folks, do you have any idea how difficult it is to fashion a cowboy hat out of tinfoil? I can do it. I've never done it, but I believe I could, you know. I got that sneaking suspicion that it might just be about time for me to find out. Karl Marx once said that religion is the opiate of the people. I'd like to submit that conspiracy theories, generally speaking, are the half-cooked meth of the people. No less a thinker than Sam Harris once referred to conspiracy theories as the pornography of doubt, and he was right to do so. But sometimes a cigar really is a cigar. Not all slippery slopes are fallacy created, and Superman really is Clark Kent. Sorry, that's a spoiler for you. But folks, I have the unenviable task of coming to you today to propose that maybe, just maybe, the ignominious winds of change that are even now wafting up into our noses signal more than just that the Biden administration has once again accidentally shit the bed. Now, don't shoot the messenger one more time. I'm going to continue to warn you with that. But sometimes it's on purpose that he shits the bed. Now, you might think I'm crazy, and if so, you wouldn't be the first person, and you sure as heck won't be the last, and I'm okay with that. But before you decide one way or the other, let me hit you with a few interesting data points and see if you don't connect the dots the same way that I do. Last month, baby formula out of stock rates hit 70%. That's right. Their out of stock rates hit 70%. And the formula will not be restocked until July. So you just kiss goodbye the month of June, folks. This thing is going to get worse before it gets better. That's the first one, and we'll circle back to it, Jen Psaki style. Number two, America's beef supply is predicted to shrink considerably over the summer due to drought and rising production costs. Beef production is expected to go down by 7% by 2023, driving already expensive beef costs through the roof. Now, keep that in your back pocket as well. And let's look at number three. 2 brands of strawberries have been recalled because, get this, there's a hepatitis A outbreak in the United States and Canada. Justin Trudeau's up there banning guns, and it turns out he should have been banning strawberries. So the recall on these is huge, and there's a major push not only to toss out the already purchased strawberries, but also to get the hepatitis A vaccine. Okay, here we go. That's only 3 little headlines, but let's examine the cause behind them. First of all, the formula shortage. By all accounts, this thing came about as a result of a government involvement. It wasn't bad enough that we have supply chain shortages getting worse every day. We've got to shut down the production plants too. And the beef shortage, they're blaming drought and production costs. Okay, so drought you can't blame on anybody necessarily. Sometimes it just happens. But what's driving up those production costs? Could it be the rising cost of feed because of shipping issues and inflation? Could it be the same inflation driving up the cost of beef and therefore driving down the rate of consumers buying it? And hey, while we're getting super crazy, what if the government sprayed all those strawberries with hepatitis A so we can get the Hep A vaccine? Which everybody knows based on what they've been telling us, puts a tracking chip under your skin. So that, Bill Gates knows where you are at all times. Old Bill, he's watching us. Okay. That last one might be a little bit absurd. Ain't nobody spiking the strawberries, probably. But I have a point I want to illustrate here. If you were the typical liberal watching this, you might engage in a little throwing of the baby out with the bathwater and assume that because one of the things I mentioned is nonsense, that necessarily means the other two are as well. Well, here's the thing. The other two really are part of the conspiracy. But we're far past the stage where the conspiracy has to be all cloak and dagger anymore. If you go to the World Economic Forum's website, you'll find the Great Reset. It's out in the open. Nobody's trying to hide it. And we live under a governmental regime that's in lockstep with the things that those assholes believe in. And you can't remake the world into something new without tearing down what's already there. Folks, the time for tinfoil hats is over. The time for steel nerves has arrived. We have a government in general and an administration in particular that's hell-bent on dragging us into a new paradigm because, remember, a new paradigm is what leftism always seeks. And that's what we're facing. We're in trouble, boys. I have to tell you all that every day, I know. Well, I'm about to get to that, Chris. Tens of thousands of chickens killed in Minnesota farm fire. That's right. An estimated tens of thousands of chickens were killed over Memorial Day weekend after a fire tore through a barn located in Howard Lake, Minnesota, burning down the structure in the process. Cause of the blaze is unknown. Forsman Farms. I bet it would smell delicious, though. I bet it smelled good. It was about 10 p.m. local time. They noticed a massive blaze a neighbor did while he was enjoying a bonfire with his family. Just burned them up. Boom, there you go. So it's weird how many food processing plants and all these different things that are just catching on fire, burning down. Yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, Chris. Now I want chicken. Let's go back to another thing they're doing in California. California court rules that bees are fish. Yeah, I said, you heard me. They rule that bees are fish and can be protected under endangered species laws. So they want to save the bees. So in order to grandfather them into another law that's already in existence to protect them, they're just now, I mean, if a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man, well, why not? Let the bees be a fish, right? Interesting stuff going on in the world today. Hang on to that story. But let's talk about approval ratings, all right? Day 490 of his presidency, Joe Biden, his approval falls below every modern president. There it is. So Trump was at 42.7%. And you can see the list there. Barack Obama was 48%. Bill Clinton was at 50.9%. Jimmy Carter was at 43%, 43.1%. Richard Nixon was at 57% at day 490. But Joe Biden, he has now got lower approval ratings. And listen, all of them had lower approval ratings at some time or another than what I'm showing you here. But I'm talking about on day 490. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. So I just am going to propose to you to keep your head on a swivel because they're going to keep creating crisis after crisis after crisis in order to get old Joe electable again. And also, the midterms are coming up. Someone, I got a new shirt out that says Beto, fake Mexican, real pendejo. At my site, watchchad.com or prathertees.com. And we've been selling the mess out of those things. And so when I put it on Facebook, somebody put a deal that said Greg Abbott is an asshole. They said, we'll just agree to disagree. Which actually, they did it wrong. They said, we'll just disagree to agree. I'm like, okay, Jesus. And I was like, well, I gotta say, I don't necessarily disagree with you. Right? I don't like either one of them in this situation. I mean, you got to vote for Joe Biden. You got to vote for Greg Abbott. Well, you talk about a Freudian right there. You got to vote for Greg Abbott. Because, again, at least we can push him in the right direction. Beto, no. He's going to be influenced by lefty, crazy, progressive Hollywood, California, the woke mob, the woke media, big tech, all of it. That dude doesn't have a spine. We know that. He is a pendejo. But Greg Abbott, at least we can push in a certain direction. So I'm going to vote for him. But he did violate your constitutional rights 17 times since the beginning of COVID. So I don't necessarily disagree with your meme there, sister. Hey, in this next segment, my buddy, he's my buddy, Jonathan Isaac, Orlando Magic, is going to sit down with us and hang out with us, talk about his new book, Why I Stand. Let me tell you, you remember when Lisa Page used to sit in that chair right there and we have to put pillows behind her just to make her fit? Well, wait till you see what it's like to have a dude that's 6'10" sitting there. We're going to be right back with Jonathan Isaac. Hang tight. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. I am happy to welcome to the hot seat on the show today my friend Jonathan Isaac. Got the new book out, Why I Stand. Controversial stuff, man. Welcome to the show. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad to be in here in the studios and glad to sit down with you, Chad.
I'm glad you're here. Listen, Orlando Magic, 7th round overall pick of 2017, right?
7th round? There's no seventh.
7th pick.
No, 6th pick.
6th pick.
Come on, Chad. 6th
Look
pick.
at me. I want you to look at me, Jonathan. I want you to look at me right now. I'm wearing denim on denim with a cowboy hat. How much do you think I know about basketball? I don't know a thing about basketball.
I actually dig the boots.
I meant to say 7th pick. That is true.
6th pick.
6th pick. See, when I get good guests on here, I like to insult them right off the bat. But here's the thing, Jonathan. I read this book, and let me tell you my biggest takeaway. The thing I love, the thing that endears me to you, is you like grits.
I do like grits.
You eat grits.
I do, yeah.
You talk about an episode in your life eating grits, and I'm like, this is my friend.
Yes.
This is my friend.
Grits with a little bit of cheese. Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah.
You thought we were going to talk about the book? No, we're going to talk about grits. Not enough people eat grits. Why I Stand. And a lot of times people are going to think they already know what this book is about. You chose while everybody else was choosing to kneel during the anthem. You stood alone. You stood. And it was out of your conviction. But you'd be surprised to know this is not what the book is about. You talk about that. But with the controversy that brought up, you obviously had to catch a lot of flack.
Yeah. For sure, and we talk about that in the book too, like the aftermath, and we can't even honestly go into detail about all the things that happened even in the book.
Sure.
But yeah, it was a very emotional time, and people were extremely invested in the movement being the thing that is going to heal the Black community and ultimately heal, the world, and it hasn't been that, and kind of from the jump, I didn't see it as being able to truly bring healing to the world.
I go back and look at certain decisions that I made in my life, political stances, cultural stands that I took, things that weren't always popular opinions, and I know the flack that I catch, and I'm nobody. But you're playing for the Orlando Magic. You're a professional basketball player in the NBA, and you're surrounded by a culture that has a certain idea of how you're supposed to respond to these social issues.
Right.
There's almost a demand for it. I look back on certain things that I've done, and I thought, maybe I should have done that differently. Have you had any second thoughts about that at all?
Honestly, no. With the vaccine stuff and with the standing in the bubble, no. I knew what I was standing for, and it wasn't about me. So it wasn't about politics. It wasn't necessarily about culture or anything like that. It was me looking at myself and saying, I know what has helped me. I know what has helped heal me. I know what has changed my life, and that I believe is the message for the world, and that that hasn't changed.
Yeah, because you took it, to use a phrase, you took a stand in regards to the kneeling. Which, by the way, I appreciate the fact that, like, I couldn't kneel if I was 6'10" because it would take me 5 minutes to get back up. It would take me 5 minutes to get back up now,
right now,
because I'm fat. But here's the thing, Jonathan. But you took a stand when it came to the vaccine as well.
Yes, sir.
What motivated you there?
Well, honestly, the same kind of things that was going on with, around the time of Black Lives Matter. It's just the craziness of everything. So in the time I decided, you know what, I'm just going to take a step back. I want to figure out what's going on, what is the truth, what is really being said. And then once you get on social media and all those things, you see, just it being so forced and people being shouted down if they have any questions or concerns about what the vaccine could possibly do or anything like that. And I said, you know what? I want to stand with the people who are losing their jobs, the people who medical and religious freedom are being denied. I want to stand with those people on principle. And again, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm young. I don't have any comorbidities. I already had COVID in the past. I said, you know what? I don't see the wisdom in putting this into my body and still being able to to catch the virus and, you know, pass it on. And so I just said it's not for me.
And I know you caught a lot of flack. I know you did.
For sure.
I saw some of it, and I can only imagine I only saw a piece of what was really coming your way. It takes a real inner fortitude, but that wasn't your strength that got you through that.
Absolutely. And what I love about the book, and I've been saying this in all these interviews that I've been doing, is that the book isn't just some highlight reel of this guy being so courageous. It really does take you through the story of the things that I struggled with as a kid: anxiety, fear, self-insecurity, and how through a relationship with Christ, I was able to develop into the man that I am today, and having the people around me, like all throughout the book, who have helped me to get here. So that courage absolutely comes from being grounded in the truth that I've experienced what a relationship with Jesus is like. I've experienced what being loved unconditionally is like, and what that can do for a person who is dysfunctional, who has these fears and these different things that are going on. And that's why I said, you know what, I believe that can be the answer for the world.
Dude, it's an incredible story. And as I'm looking through this book and I'm reading it, and again, I always pick out little things like, really, Florida State? Really, Florida State? I went to Georgia. Everybody in my family went to Clemson, so I get the ACC thing.
Yeah.
And I caught it for going to Georgia, but I'll give you a hard time on that. But the little tidbits of your story, like the nuances of the relationships you had, the people that impacted you, the relationships that were restored and built and created in that, that's a powerful journey, man. And at your age, having accomplished so much, that a very small percentage of people that ever exist will experience what you've experienced, to play pro sports and to walk that journey. You know, to have that kind of grounding and that kind of perspective, do you ever step back and go, do you ever just look at your life and go, man, I'm glad that I have this perspective, because it'd be easier just to go with the flow.
Oh yeah, for sure. It definitely, there were times where it would have been much easier for me, and even in all these different stands where I could have just flown under the radar and just did what everybody else was doing to fit in or to get along. It's something that I've been used to doing in the past. But yeah, I think it's just, I think getting to those moments of, again, through the journey of growing to where it was like the moment had to be me standing in that moment. It had to be me refusing the vaccine because of the things that were going on, because I've been built on this journey of getting there. And so that's really what I love about the book, is that it's just real. And you're talking about the relationships and things being restored with my dad, and meeting all these different people, Coach Gates, Dr. Hepburn, my wife. It's like, that's a real story that people can identify with, because we need people. And people have ups and downs and triumphs and failures, and all of that is in the book as well.
You know, one of the biggest things, that the hypocrisy, if you will, of the Black Lives Matter movement, to me, was here you had this opportunity to truly make a difference in the black community. And so much of that, now we're finding out, was squandered, wasted, embezzled, donated, or used to create, wealth for people and build mansions for the founders and things like that. On the flip side, you did take a stand, and now you are giving back because you're actively involved in ministry as well.
Yes, sir. I'm definitely actively involved in ministry at Jump Ministries Global Church in Orlando, Florida. That's where I go. My wife goes there as well. That's the doc in the book is the bishop of. But yeah, and I think even for me, again, that sucks. Everything that's coming out about the Black Lives Matter movement is awful. And I would say that because of so many people who invested so much because of the phrase Black Lives Matter, and they had their trust in the phrase, and the organization was free to do what they wanted to do. But for me, it just reiterates for me that I knew from the onset that healing is not going to come from an organization. It's not going to come from a movement, because the things that we're struggling with, racism and all the things that plague our society, are heart issues. And ultimately, the hearts of men need to be changed. And that's why I believe that the gospel is the thing that's really going to change the hearts of men. But I think even the more so hypocritical thing is that when the thing with George Floyd happened, what we're so used to doing is we automatically take that judge role and say we're the judge, the jury, and the executioner, and what this person did is evil. But we don't look at ourselves, and we don't see ourselves for the wrong that we've done, and the way that if we were caught in that moment, we would want mercy and we would want forgiveness, but we don't extend that to other people. And so again, what the gospel does is it puts everybody on the same playing field. And it says we're all in need of a savior. We're all wretched. We're all wrong all the time. And ultimately, God is the only one that can truly judge. It doesn't mean that people don't deserve consequences for what they do, but you render unto people the way that you would want to be treated yourself.
And I love the advice, or at least the wisdom that Doc gave you when you were catching a lot of the flack about choosing to stand. And I'm not going to reveal it, because you got to get the book.
Come on.
Why I Stand. You got to get the book. But he gave you a great piece of advice and wisdom about why they do what they do and why you did what you did, and it settled you. Don't you wish, though, that we could live in a world where people weren't just, I mean, today it's like we're so polarized, people have to pick a side, no matter what the issue is.
Yeah, it sucks. It's definitely gotten to that point where it's like there's no room for conversation, and I think because every argument has been made into a moral one.
Yeah.
Like, take the vaccine. If you had hesitation about taking the vaccine, you're an evil person. There's no nuance. There's no gray area. It's not just that you're pregnant and you have a little concern about what the vaccine could do. It's no, you don't care about the people around you. And I think that a lot of these issues, and even the Black Lives Matter thing, where it's like, if you don't support Black lives in the way that we're demanding you to do it, then you don't care about Black lives at all. Yeah. And that's why I was like, no, that's not true. There's other ways to support Black lives than kneeling for the anthem and wearing a T-shirt. And so it's just that all of these conversations have been drummed up in a moral way to where it's easy to shout down the person that you're arguing with because you can deem them as evil.
Well, thank you for writing this book, first of all. You didn't have to. You know what I mean? You didn't have to, but you did. And it's doing well. It's killing it. And, you know, I don't know about you being on Glenn Beck's show, because, I mean, that guy, he's a hack. But now that you've been on my show, it'll probably do even better. Absolutely. Fantastic.
You're going to be the guy that's going to take us to where
I want to push you to the next level, Jonathan. I want to get you to the pinnacle.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome, by the way.
You got to... You just for the people that are listening to, you got to give me one more thing that you love about the book.
I love about the book. Let's see. I was impacted by not only the journey of faith, but the very last paragraph of the book. In fact, I'm not going to give away anything of the book, but let me take you guys to this. I want to read one sentence to you.
Come on.
I'm going to read one sentence to you. He said, this is what Jonathan said. He said, everything I've been through along this journey hasn't been easy, but I promise you it's been worth it. And then you go on, you go a little bit further. I'm not going to read the last because I want you to say it, but the fact that it's worth it, it makes a big difference. And that's the value in the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think it's like finding purpose, like going through this journey and like me, like kind of like growing as a young man and all those different things. I found what I believe the purpose for my life to be. And again, it hasn't all been perfect because I've had those ups and downs. I've made mistakes. I've caught backlash, but looking back, I have a book, and it's something that people are going to be able to tangibly hold and inspire them and encourage them. And I know that, again, that's what makes it all worth it.
And you're handsome. Look at that. Look at that right there. Your wife's sitting over there. She knows.
Yes.
She better know.
She better
know. But then he does something this right out of my book right here. This is how I do it. Shop at thejudahcollection.com. You got, hey, it's a free market, baby. Yeah. It's a free market. You can even go shop at judahcollection.com. Go check it out. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
I don't know how you fit on an airplane, honestly.
It got to be first class, and I still kind of struggle a little bit even when I'm on there.
Oh, get the book, Wise Stan. Jonathan Judah Isaac.
Yes, sir.
And that's another thing you're going to learn in the book. It matters, folks, and it's worth it. Love y'all. God bless you. Jonathan, thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me on. This has been awesome.
Score a lot of points.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll be right back.
We'll do.
Man, I'm so happy that it's Pride Month. There was a teacher. Preschool teacher. Yeah, because this stuff doesn't happen. Remember, every time I bring it up, everybody says, "Oh, you're just bashing teachers." Oh, no, I'm not. North Carolina, North Kanky-Lanky. 3- and 4-year-old students is teaching using LGBT, that's lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transsexual, for those of you keeping score, flashcards. One of them even had a picture of a pregnant man using flashcards to teach colors to the 3- and 4-year-olds. There you go. The cards are made by now defunct company called Buy Us Box, which also made sets of flashcards showcasing non-binary and transgender animals, gender-neutral nursery rhymes, and blackness collection. I got to get me some of that blackness collection. Daily Mail reported about that. The company was created by 2 women who said they were inspired by the murder of George Floyd. Last summer, months into the pandemic and days after George Floyd's murder, we were desperate to transform our feelings into concrete actions. That's what their website says. Black Lives Matter movement was pushing anti-racism conversations further into the spotlight while pandemic lockdowns meant many people were at home feeling unsure of what to do. We quickly moved ahead on an idea we'd already been discussing, a way to bring anti-racism and inclusivity directly into family homes. So there you go, flashcards. Flashcards. Somebody said to me, they said, you conservatives, y'all are all about free speech unless it's, BLM or CRT or whatever. Now, look, if I'm a teacher and I'm teaching your kid math and I consistently tell them that 2 + 2 is 5, and if they take a test and say 4, and I say, no, 2 + 2 is 5. Now, that's not an issue of free speech. That's an issue of misinformation. I'm teaching them wrong. So when you start pumping your ideology into 3- and 4-year-olds, it's not about free speech because you are limited in what you can say in a classroom when you start pumping them full of ideologies and misinformation. Okay? You're there to freaking teach, not push an agenda or a narrative. There was an Air Force base that was going to have a drag queen story hour event, but the public gave a big old outcry and they canceled it. That was going to be over in Germany, and then you had a nightclub that was in Duluth, Minnesota, that was going to have a kid-friendly drag show. Yeah, you heard all of that right. A nightclub was going to do a kid-friendly drag show. We got the tape, but I don't want to play it. One of the participating drag queens told local news it was to help kids understand the daily life for a drag queen king. Okay. So there you go. Send your kids to the club. Rock and roll. And then, of course, we've got, I think we do have time for this. Can we play the Leah Thomas clip real quick? The words from Leah Thomas. Play them. If you got them.
There are some who look at the data and suggest that you're enjoying a competitive advantage. What do you say to that?
There's a lot of factors that go into a race and how well you do. And the biggest change for me is that I'm happy. And sophomore year, where I had my best times competing with the men, I was miserable. And so having that be lifted is incredibly relieving and allow.
So there you go. It was all about how Leah Thomas felt, right? I just didn't feel good. I wasn't feeling good when I was putting up my best times against men. So I had to go kick the shit out of the girls. What? By the way, I'm looking at her and I'm still thinking that's a dude. Twigs and berries, still intact. I wanted to get to a TikTok. We don't have time for it. We do have to take a break, though. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, tomorrow night, Friday, I'm going to be in Belton, Texas, and going to bring the Ragamuffins with me. So come have some laughs, sing some songs with us. We're going to have a good time. Then we're going to be in Boerne, Texas, Saturday night, which is, northwest of San Antonio, big area down there. Come hang out with us at the Roundup. Plenty of room for everybody. And then, of course, legendary, the world's largest honky-tonk, Billy Bob's in Fort Worth, Texas. We're going to be there Sunday night. Go to watchchad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. I want to see you out there. We're bouncing around, going to be in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Of course, we're opening for old Blake Shelton at Highway to Henrietta, there in Henrietta, doing a Troy Aikman's deal, his fundraiser annual deal. And then we're going to be Fort Smith, Arkansas. We're bouncing around. Don't forget, folks, get overtime. Sign up at blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad to save. And have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Love you. God bless you.